Hi, lovely people. Thanks for being with me. It feels nice to connect with you again. It's been a while that I've been on YouTube and recorded a video. We were out of internet for some weeks because we were with our sailing boat on a different spot. If you hear some weird noises, that's our anchor rope squeezing against the boat, so no worries. So we were out of internet for a while because we were on a different spot and there was no internet connection at all. And on the other hand, it still feels scary for me to speak in front of you, talk with you and share things with you. The double feeling is always present. Loving and enjoying connecting with you and sharing the things that I share with you, and on the other hand there is this fear. And the more and more I become aware of this fear, it is the voice in my head that tells me it has to be perfect. I don't know if you recognize this voice too, or the thoughts in your head that tells you everything you do has to be perfect. And in your head you have a very clear image of what is perfect to you. And even if you reach this perfect image, then there is another voice or the same voice that tells, nah, it still isn't perfect. It will see this tiny detail and it will focus on this tiny detail that is not perfect. So actually it is a phantom we are running after, this perfect image. The being perfect, it never exists, and still it has a lot of power. I discover in myself that this voice still has a lot of power. I don't know if you become aware of yourself, of the voices that are still having a lot of power in your head. You can also say conditioned things. I don't know if this is the right English, but during our lifetime, as we grow up, we get conditioned. We get conditioned by our parents, by teachers, by the conditioned mind of the town or the city or the village where we grow up. Everywhere there are unspoken rules, but we see it as a kid, and as a kid we are a sponge and we take in everything and we believe everything just because we are a kid, and we are open to it, and we take in and we get conditioned and we start to believe this, what we see, what we hear, because we don't have any opinion yet. And so we believe, and we believe things that are not ours. So slowly we build up a conditioned mind. We build up thoughts in our head, beliefs, viewpoints of people around us, of the country, the beliefs of a country where we grew up, and slowly we build also our own opinions. But it's all in our mind, it's all conditioned, it's all, I call them also voices in our head. And after a while you discover that this voices or these thoughts or these viewpoints, some you still believe they are true and you still feel that they fit you, they suit you, they are right to you. And other ones you discover like, no, they are not true. And you know it, you become aware of it, like I do with this voice, this conditioned mind of being perfect. I see it, I'm aware of it. And sometimes how would I say, I can break through it and do things not perfect at all, according to this image in my head, according to this voice in my head. And sometimes I'm completely taken over and I believe this voice and I follow this voice. And it doesn't feel nice, because then I get easily frustrated, because it's never good enough, because this phantom of being perfect, I cannot reach it. It's always somewhere in the future, and there's always a small detail that is not perfect. So I'm running behind a phantom that I becoming running behind a result that I never can reach. So what I do now is just, as soon as I discover slightly frustration, or when I discover that the thoughts in my head are going to the direction of being perfect, and it can be while I'm doing the dishes, or while I'm cutting vegetables, or while I'm writing a text message to friends, family, or while I'm writing a message on Facebook, then slowly I discover every word I type, or every vegetable I'm cutting, everything I do has to be in a certain way. And I feel a slightly tension, and I feel also frustration when, for example, the carrot falls on the ground, or when I spoil water on the floor when I'm doing the dishes, or every word that I'm typing, I feel like I'm considering if this is the right one, or shall I change it to another one. And what I do now is that when I become aware of this slightly frustration, and I become aware of trying to follow this perfect phantom, I will call, then I stop and I do like, oh, wait, and I stop, and I literally stop and I wait, and I talk with myself. And maybe this sounds weird, but to me it helps. I start talking to myself and I say, come Lynn, come, what's going on? And I talk to this voice of being perfect, and I ask her questions that pop up in my mind. And I ask her, what is going on? For example, when I'm cutting these carrots and they are not how I want them, then I ask her, what is going on? Yeah, but this carrot has to be smaller than the other one, and I'm spoiling carrots on the floor, and it's not good, and I'm doing it wrong, and it's not perfect. And then I say, okay, it's okay, come with me, come with me, slow down, it's okay. And sometimes the voice, this little girl, because to me all this voice is a little girl that wants to be the best and that wants to be perfect. And to me, all the voices, all the conditions in our head, the viewpoints or emotions are like little kids that want our attention. So what I do is I give them, in this case, I give her attention, and I talk with her. And I say, come with me. It's okay. But the carrot is not good. And I let her talk. And I listen. I let her talk. I listen. Give her the space. And really listen, like a loving parent listening to her daughter. Her little daughter. And after a while, this little kid that tries to do her best and that is afraid of doing something wrong calms down, because it feels listened to, it feels seen and heard, and it feels that it has the attention and it feels loved. No matter what, no matter if it's wrong or it's not perfect, it doesn't matter anymore, because she feels loved like she is. And maybe this sounds a bit weird, and that's the language that it does, because who is the one who is listening? Who is this loving parent? Who is this loving mom? Unconditional love. And who is this little kid? It seems like it's two persons in one body. How I see it is that the loving parent is who we really are in our essence. This loving, unconditional love, this space we give, that's who we are in our essence, our true self. It's our heart that is talking. And the little girl that wants to do her best is to me our mind, is what we believed, what we made up with our mind. It is our conditioned mind. It's our personal conditioned mind of all the opinions and things that we believed by ourselves, and it's all the things that we took in during growing up, of our parents, teachers, and also from the city we live in and the country. It's the human conditioned mind. It's a collection of it. So if you can see it as two separated things, you on a deeper dimension, on a deeper level, in your essence, you are this loving parent. Just unconditional love. Listening, observing, and becoming aware of all these conditionings in your head, of all the thoughts in your head, the voices in your head. And you will become aware of opinions, viewpoints, voices. And some are small, some voices doesn't have a lot of power, and others will always come back and has a lot of power. Like mine, that wants to do her best, that doesn't want to do something wrong, that wants to be perfect. And I became aware that the underlying fear of this voice is it wants to do her best. It wants to be perfect because it is afraid of being punished. It is afraid of being punished and left alone. And I'm sure that this underlying fear is of past lives. And also it's to me a collective fear, because it's not true in this in the life that I'm living now. I'm not getting punished of doing something wrong. It's just a fear, an underlying fear that makes this voice powerful. And sometimes I can see this voice, sometimes I can break through this voice, and I can stop, and then I literally stop what I'm doing. I stop doing the dishes, even if I'm in the middle of it. And sometimes it's hard to do it because I'm so used to finish what I'm started. But this is just learning to me and just experimenting by breaking through this conditioned mind. So I stop in the middle of the dishes, or I stop with cutting these vegetables, and then I just go to the front of the boat, or I just sit and listen to this voice. And I wait, and I do something that I like to do. I do something that makes me feel peaceful again. Sitting in front of the boat, watching the waves, feeling the sun, just maybe talking to my wonderful partner and sharing this voice with him, sharing that I'm feeling I want to do perfect and it is not going right. It doesn't matter. I just do what feels good at that moment to me. And it can be that after 5 minutes I go back to the dishes and I feel completely peaceful, and I enjoy doing the dishes, and I enjoy doing it. The result doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I'm just connected with my peace, and I am this loving parent. I am connected with who I am in my essence. So I want to encourage you to find your way of becoming aware of the voices in your head, of the beliefs in your mind, of your conditioned mind, to become aware of it and to become aware of which belief is very strong and which voice is very strong and powerful and can take you over, and you really believe it, and which opinions are not so strong, and you become aware and you see it and find your way to find out if this is a belief you want to keep, or if this is a belief, a voice that doesn't suit you anymore, that doesn't make you happy anymore, that feels like a heavy weight. And then try to figure out, by learning, by making mistakes, by doing it and by not doing it, what helps you to change it. And how I experience it's by learning and by allowing myself to make mistakes. And sometimes I follow this loving, unconditioning, loving parent, and I follow it and I feel the peace. And sometimes not at all. Then I get frustrated and angry with myself, and I'm like, I'm a loser, I feel complete loser. And I'm learning that both is fine. It's not because I can break through it that I'm good, or that I'm not good. And it's not because if I follow it that I'm better. No, both ways are good. It's just becoming aware of yourself, becoming aware of what is going on inside you, and learn, discover yourself. Go and explore yourself again and discover what is going on inside you, and find out your way of making yourself peaceful again, or living a life that fits you, that makes you happy. And the only person that knows is you. And how you can know? By feeling. By feeling. If you feel peaceful, if you feel there is a joyful feeling inside, then this is something you like. Then this is something you enjoy doing. And if you feel frustration or anger or bitterness, then you're doing something you don't like, or you're believing something that doesn't suit you. And it's okay. It's just by feeling and by discovering and exploring that you know which is your true you and which not. Become aware, observe yourself, explore yourself, and discover yourself again. And you will discover some beautiful things. I wish you lots of fun and joy, and be very gentle with yourself, with exploring and discovering and making mistakes, and allowing yourself to make mistakes. Thanks for listening, and thanks for being with me. And if you like to share your journey of exploring and discovering yourself, let me know and send me a personal message. And if you like to go on a journey with me because you discovered this journey feels quite heavy, or you want to share it with someone and learn more about yourself and getting new insights, I love to go on this journey with you and do life coaching with you. I send you lots of love and looking forward to hear you. Thanks for being with me, and until next time.